feeling I can't live without. So shame on me, I'm a fool for the melody. This is our party, and this is where the beat goes down. Feel the music on the stereo. As we let the rhythm take control, we're gonna dance like we don't care. Keep on popping bottles like a
MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. It does not matter who I am. It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is who you are. Let the day begin and let the horror start. Oh, no, that's a song. That's something else that I should probably be talking about later on. Anyways, today is Thursday, December the 1st of 2022. Yes, that is December the 1st. That means we are in the last month of what the hell we have going on. It is day 335, just in case if you're wondering, and only 30 days remaining. Yes, that is the 3-0 era in regards of moving forward in everything that we have going on. So there you go. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
Yep, there you go. You can take a listen to Radio Big on the iHeartRadio app if you are so inclined to do so. Not to be confused with the podcast section, which there seems to be some confusion when people start bringing that up of, I am on iHeartRadio. No, we are streaming on iHeartRadio, so let's just make sure that we are eerie right there as we are talking about it. Anyway, so let's get into some stuff right away because we got little time and some things to do.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about the trend. So yes, on some sad news yesterday, Christy McVie landed in Twitter top 10 trends on Wednesday after news broke of her passing. That was happened yesterday. Spotify was trending yesterday as Twitter users shared their personalized 2022 Wrapped experience. I did notice that out of the weirdness, Apple Music did something very similar, which I don't recall them doing years before, but I guess that's their replay that they reference. YouTube was trending on Wednesday as people rushed to Twitter to complain about the video sharing app continuously crashing. I don't have any issues, but then again, I guess I really wasn't hanging out yesterday so much and doing the stuff that would be related to the tube of the U or the U of the tube, and not to be confused with any kind of hubs because that's some other stuff. Anyways, Twitter was reacted to Peacock's docuseries about Casey Anthony based on tweets of people's negative views towards her have not changed. We can talk a little bit more about that if you're so inclined to do so, and just a tiddly bit because that's what we do around here. So let's talk about this because I think it's going to be important. So let's do this. if you have not heard, we have an event coming up, the Safety Differently Workshop, going down in Santa Fe, New Mexico. If you're interested in coming by, taking a look, hanging out with Todd Conklin, Martha Acosta, Mark Yeston, and Bob Edwards, and of course, yours truly, you can come on down to Santa Fe as we will be having an event in March. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. That is safetyfm.io to find out the latest and greatest information of what the hell's going on. And then you get to pick your experience on how many Daisy Azies you want to be there. So that would be kind of another cool thing to be able to hang out and do some stuff. I keep on being asked the weird question of, will I be broadcasting from there? I wonder what I would be doing. I wonder if I will broadcast when I have the perfectly good opportunity in doing so. I wonder how that will work. I wonder what I will do. I wonder how I'll think about it. I think you already know the answer. We'll kind of figure it out as it goes, because that's going to be one of those things, that is for sure. Anyways, with that being said, if you're not familiar with the show, it's kind of a simple process on how we do the things that we do around here. We talk about safety in the news and safety. We bring some professional broadcasters in that claim that they know what the hell they're talking about, so that's kind of an important one as we do it. And so then from that particular point right there, we move forward and do everything else. We bring in news, we talk about safety, we talk about people, we talk about things, we bitch, we complain, and we rant it all together in one giant ball that we call the Rated R Safety Show. So there you go. I was looking yesterday, I did not realize this, but already 670 episodes of this thing. Of the thing that started off as a rant show to now our daily A-Lee, that we do this stuff. If you would have told me back then that we would have been doing this, going from the podcast directly to a radio show daily, on doing this that also had some kind of visual radio aspects to it, I wouldn't have believed you, but look where we are now. Anyways, if you want to interact with the show, simple process on doing so, go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will get you moving and grooving inside of this world. Also, be on the lookout. What's today? Today's Thursday. By tomorrow, being the 2nd, we'll have our newest ebook coming out, hanging out, and doing all the fun stuff. And of course, I think I have it on my other computadora, but I'm sure I can get it in the interim time as we are doing all that stuff. And then we'll put that up on Safety FM Plus. Yeah, Safety FM Plus. You know, I remember the P90X guy used to do the plus stuff, which I always thought was kind of interesting on how he did it. Anyway, so with that being said, let's do this. Let's get you into the news of what the hell is going on in this marvelous world of ours. So let's go ahead and do that now. So here is the news. Maybe here's the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. A federal appeals court judge has rejected a bid by the Biden administration to revive the student loan forgiveness plan. The 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals on Wednesday declined to put a hold on a ruling from a Texas judge earlier this month that vacated the $400 billion student debt relief program. The Biden administration wanted the ruling put on hold during the appeals process, but the federal 3-judge panel rejected that request. The court did, however, call for the appeal to be held on an expedited basis. House Democrats are now in possession of former President Trump's tax returns after a multi-year court battle. Brian Shook has more.
Reports say the House Ways and Means Committee now has access to 6 years of Trump's financial records. On Wednesday, the Treasury Department said it complied with last week's Supreme Court decision that denied Trump's emergency appeal to block the handover. It's all part of an investigation by House Democrats into the IRS's presidential audit program. I'm Brian Shook.
Interest rate hikes might be getting smaller. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell made a speech on Wednesday and indicated that the central bank will raise interest rates by a 0.5 percentage point, which is down 0.25% from previous rate hikes to combat inflation. Darrell Brooks Jr. is appealing his conviction in the Waukesha, Wisconsin Christmas parade case. Lisa Taylor fills us in.
Brooks filed a notice of appeal Tuesday asking for help from the public defender's office. In his trial, Brooks defended himself. In his note, Brooks said he didn't want to cause controversy, but mentioned clear issues of the law and the legal facts in the case. I'm Lisa Taylor.
And McDonald's is offering free meals for life with its new McGold card. Starting Monday, every order completed on the McDonald's app for at least $1 will enter customers into a contest to win a McGold card. 3 winners will get a special card that earns them free McDonald's for life. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
In London, I'm Nina Maria Potts with the latest world headlines. China appears to have eased some COVID restrictions following days of demonstrations, with districts in cities such as Shanghai and Guangzhou released from lockdown. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa's future is in doubt as he faces possible impeachment proceedings over allegations he covered up the theft of $4 million from his farm. And the ex-boss of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX, which imploded spectacularly recently, denies committing fraud.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Incoming House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries is honoring House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
An extraordinary speaker for the ages, who has delivered so much for so many.
Jeffries will succeed Pelosi when the new Congress convenes in January. He said the country's better because of Pelosi's leadership. The New York congressman promised to advance the ball for everyday Americans and get stuff done. He said Democrats are committed to working with Republicans whenever possible, but will always push back against extremism whenever necessary. Jeffries, who was elected to Congress in 2012, will be the first black party leader in either chamber of Congress. Bill Clinton has tested positive for COVID-19. The former president took to Twitter to share the news and noted that he's experiencing mild symptoms and he's doing fine overall. He also urged Americans to get vaccinated and boosted. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton came down with the virus back in March. Apple and Twitter aren't fighting anymore. Trey Thomas has the details of the meeting between the two tech titans.
In tweets Wednesday, Twitter owner Elon Musk said he went to Apple's headquarters and met with CEO Tim Cook. The meeting came days after Musk went on a tweet storm, accusing Apple of threatening to pull Twitter from the App Store. After the meeting, Musk tweeted, "Good conversation." Musk said Cook was clear that Apple never considered pulling the social media app. I'm Trey Thomas.
British royalty will be in Boston today. The Prince and Princess of Wales are making their first trip to the U.S. in 8 years. Kensington Palace says Prince William and Kate Middleton will join activists, innovators, policymakers, and performers to celebrate all of the finalists for the Earthshot Prize, which is a grant from the Royal Foundation, which is given to 5 people for their environmental work. And the Vatican's website was down Wednesday evening because of a suspected cyber attack. The suspected attack happened a day after the Kremlin rebuked Pope Francis for his latest condemnation of Russia's attack on Ukraine. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. 17 minutes past the top of the hour as we are over here tickling the ivories. So anyways, how are you? How are things? Are you still enjoying your time hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show? Yeah, because I always have to ask those questions because they are important. I want you to make sure that we're clear here on how important it is because, listen, when it's all said and done, we kind of did make this around the stuff that you told us to do. So keep that in mind as well. So I want to make sure that we are abundantly clear. Yes, clear as in, how those other people are clear, through the bridge of total freedom. Okay, maybe that's something entirely different. Ignore that comment. So let's get into the shit list because it is that time of the day to start having that lovely discussion of that list of things that we talk about and move and groove and all that other fun stuff. So take a listen to this. China's communist government has employed armored vehicles and SUVs to get onto the streets near the weekend for the protesters to show the force to disavow further dissent. An official statement from the Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission said that the government will resolutely crack down on infiltration and sabotage activity by the hostile forces. So, I things are getting more and more serious as we are talking. There is no doubt about that. So what do you think about this? How do you take a look at this, of what is going on, and go, well, maybe we need to have some conversations on some things that are happening, opposed to it just being, well, let's just do the la-di-da of everything else that is normally going on. So there you go. Anyways, disgraced cyber crook Sam Bankman-Fried made some stunning revelations during an interview as part of the New York Times Deal Book Summit. SBF appeared through a video link from the Bahamas. SBF says that he has nothing in a personal net worth after the crash of his company FTX, including one working credit card and a bank account with approximately $100,000, all of his worth, he said, and came from the value of FTX. For the larger scheme of misuse client money, SBF claimed ignorance and that he hadn't kept his eye on the subsidiary Alameda Research, despite being the entire FTX operations main profit center. This, he said, was a massive failure of oversight of risk management. I guess that's kind of an obvious statement as you actually put it out there. When he was asked his lawyers aboard his talking to the media, SBF said that that they absolutely opposed to it. He then tried to win sympathy by saying that having open discussions about the entire catastrophe is the right thing to do. Meanwhile, his former clients are still missing billions of dollars. But wait, the SBF is effective altruism mentally has won with the support of different people inside of politics. So there you go, some sob stories doing good for FDA stakeholders. Now he describes the corporation as engaging in political correct talk and initiatives as little more than just a PR campaign and masquerading as as other things. So there you go, some stuff to think about as we talked. SBF did admit that when he chatted with Vox journalists earlier this month that he thought that he was talking to a longtime friend and not dishing to someone who would make their conversation public. I mean, hold on. I mean, I'm kind of confused here. You talked to a reporter that told you they are a reporter and you said, "Oh no, I think I was talking to a friend." I mean, I don't get it. So let's talk about this. If you are socially inept, how can you possibly handle running a multi-billion-dollar company? Maybe that's something to look at. Anyways, meanwhile, regulatory chiefs in the European Union reportedly told Elon Musk on Wednesday morning that unless Twitter complies with the EU speech laws, they won't allow anyone on the continent to even use it. The Financial Times reports that Twitter could not have any arbitrary approach to reinstating suspended accounts. So there you go. Maybe that is something worth noting. I don't know. It's some interesting times because, listen, I will tell you, it's not like we didn't at least talk about Twitter once a day before Elon Musk came into the picture, because where we get our top 10 trends or our top trends from is definitely coming off of Twitter. There is no doubt about that. But I feel, yes, it is a feelings comment, that every time that we talk now, it is definitely about the whole thing that is related to how Elon Musk is doing X with Twitter. It's like that just seems to be an ongoing conversation every time you turn your head and cough. It just seems that way. I don't know why. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Anyways, in some other news, convicted murderer Darrell Brooks will appeal his conviction for killing 6 people and injuring dozens when he drove his SUV through a Christmas parade in Wisconsin last year. An official appeal has not yet been submitted, but he filed a letter of intent to do so on Tuesday. One criminal defense attorney tells the local media that Brooks' appeal could claim ineffective counsel, even though he represented himself. I mean, I guess that's an interesting one. I mean, put it to you that way. I had ineffective counsel. Who was your counsel? It was me. I mean, I guess that's something to really take a gander at real quick. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. Crooks in Portland did a better job than just rob an ATM. They took the whole machine. There's a video that shows that while a van was driving through the plate glass windows in front of a store, then crawling through the debris to pick up the ATM, the thief's full butt crack was hilarious on display while bending over to pick it up. I don't know if that's worth doing, but there is a video out there. Police did know that the robbers had assistantly patterned a jacket and hoping that the unique design will help public draw attention. Well, I'm glad that we decided that we wanted to take a pattern of his jacket opposed to taking a look at his butt crack and saying, hey, can we butt crack figure out who the hell this is? Because that just seems like a crazy thing to do there. But I guess, weirder things have happened. I don't know. I don't even know what's happening anymore inside of this place.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the Arab Academy of Science, Technology, and Maritime Transport is demanding that the British Museum return the Rosetta Stone. Yes, the artifact that played a central role in, the central artifact that did broke down the cipher in other ancient languages in the discovery of the 1799. At first, French forces under Napoleon took the possession of the stone, but then it was handed over to the Brits as part of the French surrender plan when they were defeated in Egypt 2 years later. It's been in the UK property since then. British officials say that the peace treaty that was granted them the stone was signed by an Egyptian official at the time and therefore cannot be considered a spoil of war in international laws. So there you go. There's some knowledge probably this morning that you didn't expect from this thing, especially after coming off of a butt crack story. I mean, at least that's the way that I look at it. Not the butt crack part, just in case. Anyways, let's get into this real quick. Let's talk to John Smalls, and let's see what the hell's going on inside of the Market Beat.
Market Beat Minute for Thursday, December 1st, 2022. Equities ended November on a solid footing, boosted by remarks from Fed Chief Jerome Powell. He signaled the FOMC may shift its stance as soon as the next meeting and slow the pace of interest rate hikes. While the market cheered the news, the takeaway is that inflation is still running hot and underpinned by rising wages. In this light, the pace of hikes may have slowed, but it's not going to end any sooner than previously indicated. The risk now is that inflation will only subside moderately and prolong the time it takes for the FOMC to do its job. Today's news may alter the entire FOMC outlook once again, so don't be surprised if the market makes an about-face. The PCE price index is expected to cool from the previous month, but may not have cooled as much as expected. Regardless, the index is expected to support the current outlook for interest rate hikes, which is having a negative impact on the outlook for the S&P 500 earnings. While this dynamic is overshadowing the market, no rally should be trusted. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for that information right there. Here's what I was able to find in regards of what is going on. Take a listen to this. The Dow had an afternoon rally, gaining 737 points on news that the Fed will likely slow the pace of interest rate hikes. It closed at 34,589. The S&P picked up about 122 points to close at 4,080, while the NASDAQ added about 484 points to close at 11,468. West Texas Intermediate ticked up about $80, and Brent crude closed at about 86. And when I say ticked up to over $80, is probably what I should have said. Not that it ticked up by $80, because we'll be like, holy shit, what are we going to be paying for gas? The national average of the price of the gallon of gas yesterday was $3.49. And I have to tell you, amongst the wild yesterday, I could not believe it, but I had spotted fuel at $2.78. Now, of course, you had to be a kind of a card member of a club to get that price, but it was still $2.78, which I was in total shock of. $2.78. Yeah, pass out right there because I couldn't believe it either. Anyways, Bitcoin surged to more than $700 on Wednesday evening with a jump-timed SBF appearance at the New York Times Dealbook Summit. It traded over 17,100. Now, take a listen to this because this will be the interesting portion. There was 4,407 flights delayed within, into, out of the United States on Wednesday. And here we go, knocking it out of the park on Wednesday, 515 cancellations as snowy weather hit major areas. So there you go. You were probably, depending if you were traveling yesterday, there was a good chancy-yancy that you were sitting your ass right there for a long period of time are going, how in the hell else am I going to get anywhere inside of this thing? So there you go. There you go. That is for sure. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. A new promo for the 2023 Invictus Games featuring Prince Harry and Meghan Markle dropped on Wednesday. The event was founded by Harry back in 2014. It is an international multi-sport event for the wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women. The Invictus Games will be held in Germany for the first time, and you can find that online if you want to take a look-see on what the hell is going on out there. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority officials say that they are investigating after seeing a viral video of a man hanging onto the back of the VTA train. Jessica Gomez, the person who recorded the video, tells NBC Bay Area what happened.
Like one arm, and then the other arm was just like loosely like just wandering around, and it was just crazy to see him how fast on the train he was going, like 60 to 70.
VTA officials said that in a statement that anyone who sees the behavior should call 911 immediately. And they also said that the riding outside of the VTA vehicle is against the law and can turn out to be fatal. I'll tell you, there are other countries out there, and this is not a joke as I say this, that you can ride the train on the top of the train. And I ain't joking. And there's like certain segments that people just start laying back on the train. So that is a sign that you're going into an area that it is time to move and groove and call it a day. In regards of moving down, there is no doubt about that. So keep that in mind if you decide to go down that circumstance of a path in regards of moving and grooving, all that kind of fun stuff. So keep that in mind as we are talking. Anyways, take a listen to this. The old state capital of Springfield, Illinois, as always will be associated with the former President Barack Obama. Governor J.B. Pritzker and others gathered yesterday to dedicate the historical marker on the grounds of the old state capitol to Obama's 2007 and 2008 presidential campaign announcement.
To me, this marker is a reminder that one of our favorite sons brought a message of hope that resonated at a crucial time to people all across the world.
Obama was a U.S. Senator when he announced his bid for presidency from the old state capitol in 2007. 18 months later, he returned to announce that the U.S. Senator Joe Biden of Delaware would be his running mate. Barack Obama was elected to the 44th, the nation's 44th president back in November the 4th of 2008. So there you go. That happened back on that day. No, we're not doing that segment yet, but I mean, you get the point. You know exactly what I'm saying. Anyways, it is currently almost 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so maybe it is time to do that portion that we would do right around here, and let's do that thing that we call our story of Maine. What? Our story from Maine? Oh, our main story. Let's do that.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So listen, it is that time of joy. It is that time of peace. It is that time that people get together to do more and more holiday festivities this month than any other month. So let's talk about some of those things, because that is going to be all importante as we are hanging and banging, as we are moving and grooving, as we are doing all of the weird wording shit that you can talk about as we are talking. So, listen, I don't know how to get into this one, but we have to talk about it. But this is the time of the year that you start seeing all kinds of interesting office parties. And when I talk about interesting office parties, I'm not talking about Office Christmas Party, the movie, because that is a really interesting movie about an office Christmas party, and if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. Just remember that it is a movie, and it is a little bit over the top. But anytime that you have, Jennifer Aniston, Jason Bateman, Olivia Munn, T.J. Miller all together, it's going to be a good time. I mean, let's just talk about it. It's going to be a good time. So it's definitely something worth watching. Hopefully that's not the kind of Christmas party that you're having at your organization, but hey, it is a party. But we need to start talking about this, because I think that there are sometimes some levels of confusion of what goes on. And year in and year out, Christmas parties and holiday parties are taking place across the country. But there is always the question that comes up of, if you are having a quote-unquote holiday party, how responsible are you for what is going on inside of the environment? And it becomes a good question. I will tell you that I worked at an organization that they had holiday parties during normal work hours inside of the office. But here's where it gets weirdy. During these Christmas parties, they would also pass out alcohol. Yeah, you heard me right there. They would pass out alcohol during the Christmas party, holiday party inside of the office. Not after hours, not before hours, dead slap middle of the day. Now, they did not have any kind of form of vehicles that were available to take people from A to Z if, they got a little hammered. And there was no control on the amount of alcohol that a person could drink inside of the work organization. So then the question becomes immediately, if something was to go awry, who is responsible? Because listen, you're doing it during normal work hours. So technically, depending on how you want to look at it, salary or on the clock, they are either one, and you are handing out the alcohol. So how much are you on the hook, especially with not being able to provide a way for people to be able to go home? It becomes one of those very weird things, because then you can go, well, what are state laws? What are Fed laws? What are employment laws in that particular regards? And now, listen, let's be realistic. It's going to vary from area to area, state to state. Now, you could say, could we use some common sense here on what the hell you should be doing? Well, logically, you would say, yes, that would be a great idea. But then logically, you would sit back and go, well, more than likely, we would not be doing this if we were using common sense. Now, listen, I'm not up for, or I'm not against, maybe I'm not up either. I'm not against actually having a good time at work, but there has to be a level of understanding of what you're doing to that extent. When you're starting to do some of these things, these parties off-site, that makes it a little bit easier, and you are holding people accountable in regards of what they're doing, and you are providing them with potential of going out there and saying, hey, we have vehicles available just in case for you to take a ride home. That becomes a different conversation. But when you're doing it exactly inside of your office, it's totally different. And I look at this as most of the places that I have worked, most of the company consisted of safety-sensitive positions, because it dealt with transportation. It dealt with anything related to vehicles. So how would it be okay to pass out alcohol to do so? So if you haven't given a lot of thought to this, maybe it's something to sit down today, think about, and how does that office party look like going forward? What will that party look like inside of your organization? Do you talk to the people inside of your HR department, inside of your operations department about these things? Because that layout of that land could be crucial to what's going on inside of your organization. Number one, we don't want to see anybody injured, or even that could lead to a fatality. But think about it for a second. These things could lead to bigger things later down the road. Kind of a weird one today, but definitely something worth thinking about if you really give it some instance there.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too. Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/one-small-step. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Where the beat goes down.
Oh, yes, this is where the beat goes down. It is currently 42 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. This one right here is by Tux Bolo. Yeah, some Tux Bolo action going on real quick. And this one's called Shame on Me. Yeah, this one's featuring Ashley. Some Tux Bolo. You can find this one on Spotify and iTunes. Give it a little downloady odie. And then you could be have some shame on you, and you could be a fool for the melody as well. Yeah, hit me with that future sound. So there you go. Anyways, let's get back into it. Let's start talking a little bit more because time is going tick-tock, tick-tock. Anyways, before I forget, let me make sure that I reference this real quickly. At the top of the hour, I will be going over only onto radiobig.fm. If you want to come out and hang out, you can listen to us on iTunes, by the way. You can listen to us on TuneIn Radio. And when you go iTunes, well, we can talk about Apple Music if you want to do it that way. All you have to do is just tell your phone, if you have an iPhone, I want to listen to Radio Big, and it will find us on iTunes or Apple Music, however the hell it does it. And it'll stream directly from there. And that's on the Radio Big side of the house. Yes, that's the Radio Big side of the house, just in case you were wondering. So you can come out and do that. I'll be over there at the top of the hour for the next couple of hours or so. We do consider that hour 2 and 3 of this bad boy. So just to make sure that we are talking right there. Anyways, let's talk real quick because it is that time of the day that we need to talk about this. And it's not because it's the time of the day. It's because it's so important to talk about. And I will tell you the larger signs when it comes to people feeling depressed comes around the holidays. So I always like to make sure that we do talk about this a little bit more during this time. Because if people do feel lonely, this is the time of the year that it really seems to have an impact on some. So I want to tell you real quick about 988lifeline.org. They can help prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support to people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. If you want to find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org, or you can call 988 or text the word TALK to 988. Now listen, you don't have to do those things only. There's other options as well. I think that that's the easiest one to remember, because I still love To Write Love on Her Arms. I think it's one of the greatest organizations that is out there in regards of this matter. But I believe that 988 is easier to remember. But To Write Love on Her Arms is still one of my faves of all time in regards to talking about this. But it is important that you get the resources and find out about service providers that are in your area, because it's that important. Don't let people convince you otherwise in regards of this. It's, suck it up, move forward, don't worry about it. No. There are times in life that everyone needs a level of help, and it's okay. It's okay to have this conversation. It is okay to not be okay, because that seems to be the problem, where people go, it's not okay. Well, no, it is okay not to be okay. Everything is not perfect. Everything is not just. And sometimes we do spend time thinking on these things, and we have to move forward in regards of getting the necessary help, services that we need to, to move forward. There are some days that people wake up, and I'm sure that you fall into that category. I'm sure I fall into that category where I just don't feel it. It's just like, I'm not feeling it today. And it's okay. You don't have to feel it. Not everything's perfect. It's a great part about it. So like I said, 988lifeline.org. Call 988 or text the word TALK to 988. And why do I choose the word TALK? Because you can really text anything? Because I talk all the time. Maybe it's the easier way that I can remember it. 988lifeline.org. Let's get into some more information real quick and some shit that's going on inside of the world of the Newsy Oozy, because I think that might be important to do. So early risers get the words. Yeah, take a listen to this. It turns out that early risers are smarter than those who prefer to stay up late. In spite of the stereotype of the deep-thinking night owl staying up until the dawn writing brilliant foes and engrossed in his or her own brilliant thoughts, researchers at the University of Ottawa Sleep Research Laboratory found that, contrary to early studies, which generally have concluded that the night owl with all the brain power, it's the people who are up with the rooster who display the higher levels of verbal intelligence. In a series of studies, they found that that the typical younger people tend to be the evening types, while the other older individuals are more of the regular entrenched in the daily, nightly activities, are more often the morning types. Ironically, morning is usually a critical time for young people, especially for those that are still attending school. Actually, in my experience, it's not the time that I get up that affects my verbal intelligence. It's what I have in my coffee cup, because I don't drink coffee, so it kind of makes it a little bit more interesting. And the opening gaping hole in all the research telling us the early risers are smart is how they showed that you've been listening right now. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think that so let's put it to you this way. Do you want to be smarter doing things that affect the world, or do you want to verbally joust with people? Because that will make you smarter as well. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a world of the weird in regards of doing that. However you want to take a look-see at some of those things, it kind of makes it some interesting times as we are talking. I don't know, but it's kind of a weird one. That is for sure. Let's continue talking real quick. Take a listen to this. A 21-year-old man is behind bars on suspicion of sexually assaulting at least 13 women and girls in Los Angeles County. Police say that Michael Watson stole some of the victims' cell phones and went through their contact list to find more victims.
Was able to assume their identity, reach out to the victims' contacts, and continued his tirade of sexually assaulting other victims.
Watson is accused of sexually assaulting 9 women and 4 girls at gunpoint after luring them through social media sites like Instagram and Snapchat. He had been investigated since February of 2021 following sexual assaults in Walnut, but had been linked to other sexual assaults in Hollywood, Inglewood, and East LA. He is also accused of using nude photos to extort some of the victims. Watson is facing 16 felony charges and is being held on $1.7 million bail. So there you go. Interesting stuff on how that happened. I mean, that is just a weird way to actually do some of the things. I mean, it's just weird in general if you really kind of put it out there. But wow. What the hell is going on there? Keeping it in California, take a listen to this real quick. Safety is a top concern for people who were struck by the gondola during the power outage in Oakland Zoo. Officials said that the power went out before 7 p.m. yesterday. Clayton resident Brenda Peters tells NBC Bay Area that the zoo did not seem prepared for the situation.
Chaotic. They didn't have enough. They don't have enough shuttles. They have no plan, as far as I could see, to rescue people.
A zoo spokesperson said that they plan to make it up to visitors for the inconvenience. Okay. Imagine that. Zoo power outage leaves people stuck in a gondola. Yeah, that does not sound like fun. Like, how do you not have a plan? Always having out. I don't know. Maybe that sounded a little bit better than what I thought. So there you go. Let's do this real quick. Outside of being stuck in a gondola, let's get some motivation minutes going on here with John Smalls.
Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Walter. John Templeton said, "It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice." I love this quote. There are a few different people attached to it, but John Templeton is listed as the one who said it in this form. Either way, I agree with all of them. It is nice to be important, but boy, it's far more important to be nice. Here's a little secret, by the way. You can be both. If you want to be truly important, be nice. I remember a few years ago, I was entering a party and there was a little bit of snow on the sidewalk, and I saw this guy shoveling snow. I went over to see if I could help. It was the governor. Yeah, the governor. He said, "Go inside and enjoy the party." I was absolutely amazed at that. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlyssaMorgan.com. One's diet affects testosterone levels. Nearly 20 to 50% of U.S. men have testosterone deficiency. Men who eat a pro-inflammatory diet, which is rich in refined sugar and refined carbohydrates and fats all combined, are 30% more likely to have testosterone deficiency, which in turn leads to low libido, decreased energy, poor concentration, and is also associated with cardiovascular disease and obesity. A diet high in both refined carbohydrates and fats, essentially a standard American diet, was associated with low testosterone independent of age, race, caloric intake, smoking status, education level, and BMI. Obesity, on top of the pro-inflammatory diet, increases risk of low testosterone by 60%. For more information on wellness, check out AlyssaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the subject of the hour, low testosterone. Here we go. Let's get into it. Anyways, a lot of stuff going on as we are speaking, hanging out, and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. Anyways, no winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Friday's night's drawing will be for $333 million jackpot or $172.3 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you're more than welcome on giving it a whirly early in regards of doing it. So there you go. Some information right there as we are talking. So what else is going on inside of the world here? Why am I getting some weird news that's popping up on this side of the equation? I don't think I was supposed to have that ahead of time, am I? I mean, I don't know. So some weird stuff going on. I'll take a look-see at that maybe later on. This is not up for discussion for this particular show. What else are we seeing coming in through all the news centers going on over here? Take a listen to this coming out of Michigan. Maybe it's time to talk about this. Contract talks between Accession Borgers Hospital and the Nurses Union will resume today for the first time since the nurse held a rally on November the 12th to try to get better contract terms. Amanda Hobbs, as a part-time nurse who would lose her medical leave she uses to care for her autistic 15-year-old child.
Frankly, there's no one that can calm her down except for me. So sometimes she just needs me to be there to recenter herself so that she can, one, stop hurting herself, stop lashing out at other people in her environment.
The nurses are threatening to go on strike for a vote in a possible next week, depending on the negotiations go this week. Nurses say that the hospital wants to remove the guaranteed leave for part-timers and want to require nurses to work every other weekend. Part-time Accession Borgers nurse Amanda Hobbs says that is worried about the potential loss guarantee of the leave for those who are not full-timers. I mean, and I get it. It makes sense. In regards of having some level of concern of what the hell is going on out there. So there you go. Let's see how those talks go this week. Anyways, talking about some things that happened back on this day, back in 2019, the earliest traceable patient, a 55-year-old man, developed symptoms of COVID-19 in Wuhan, China. That was back in 2019. It would be weeks before China authorities officially acknowledged the infection. Months later, a study published by the Journal of Science would claim that the actual patient zero was a female seafood vendor who worked at an animal market in Wuhan. So there you go, some stuff going on right there. Anyways, if you're taking a look at some birthdays that are going on today, Javier Baez turns 30. Jenna Malone turns 37. Charlie Michael Davis turns 38. Brad Delson, 45. Sarah Silverman turns 52. Deep Roy turns 65. Rick Scott, former governor, turns 70. Bette Midler turns 77. And how the hell do I have Woody Allen as it says Woody Allen's birthday was not yesterday. It was incorrect. His birthday is today. He turns 87. So oopsie, there you go. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate today, I have some of those for you. It's National Cookie Cutter Day. Hey, go for you for some of those people that are cookie cutters. World AIDS Day, National Eat a Red Apple Day, and Day Without Art. Oh, that sounds like a terrible day. What are you talking about? Let's not have one of those going forward. If you're looking for a joke for today, try this one. One door closes, another one opens. One door closes, another one opens. One door closes, another one opens. That's me with a chocolate advent calendar. So there you go. If you are looking for a phone starter for today, try this. If you could create a holiday, what would it be? What traditions would it have? And what would you eat? I'm sure somebody's going to say their birthday because that just kind of boils down to what's going on. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. 33% of these happen between now and New Year's Day. What are they? Marriage proposals. Don't do it. It's a trap. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding as I say that. I jokingly say that. Don't grow up. That's a trap. That's for sure. So there you go. Marriage proposals happened during that time. Anyways, thank you for coming out, taking a listen to what the hell we have going on this marvelous Thursday, or terrific Thursday. It's not Whip 'em Out Wednesday, by the way. Terrific Thursday. So there you go. Thank you for hanging out. I really do appreciate the time that we get to spend together, because without you, there is no point on being here. That is for sure. So thank you for being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. At the top of the hour, just in a minute or so, I will be going over exclusively to Radio Big, so you can come and hang out and we can do our things together. If you want to take a look at what we have going on at Safety Differently Conference coming up in March, safetyfm.io has all the information that you need over there. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. It'll get you places that you never thought that it would take you. There you go. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.